Alright, welcome back to part 2 of the TrueKit Discovery inflatable fit out. Today, first of all, I'm going to, I have fitted the electric motor. I went a Min Coda Tarova. I can use the foot pedal for that and also the hand controller, but I think when I'm fishing and casting, the foot pedal will be really good. Hands-free operation, I can just chuck cast after cast of that. So it's over here, sitting on the kayak. I've just fitted it onto the front of this deck. See the 4 holes here for the quick release bracket. I just did that first, make sure it's going to work. I think it's going to be right. I didn't actually blow the boat up and check it, but hopefully that's going to be all good. Now we're going to epoxy the top of these decks. I have painted them. You probably meant to epoxy them first so it adheres to the wood better, but anyway, we're doing it how we're doing it. So we've got this product here, Norseal Epoxy Wood Treatment. It's just a clear treatment. Mix those two together, roll it on with the roller. Just probably going to do the top part of the decks, I think, where the Hexadeck, Deck Armour Hexadeck is going to adhere to. It's going to waterproof that top layer and it also give a better surface for the adhesion. So we're going to mix that up now and get into it. See now, they're looking nice and slick. Just got 1 coat of that epoxy. I only used about half that epoxy to do the tops. So I'll just let that dry for a while. I'll flip them over, I'll do the bottoms as well. Just use all that up. Might as well to have the whole deck sealed then. They should last a lot longer. It's not like I'm going all the time and these things are always going to be getting wet. I'll always have them dried after I use them anyway, but this is probably unnecessary. But I'll do it right the first time and I shouldn't have to do it again. So, righto, so that first side has now dried. Back down in there, we're going to mix up the second batch. And we do have enough to do both sides, so we'll seal them up properly. We'll slap that on. We're just back down the shed. The epoxy coat has dried on the decks. It's come up pretty good. Just giving it a bit bit more of a glossy finish, I suppose, and it's a harder finish. We'll get better adhesion with that Hexa deck when it turns up. Just ordered that, pretty keen to see it. It looks good in the mock-up. So yeah, today the plan is, got those couple of rolls here of marine carpet. Definitely didn't need this much, but we're just going to apply a thin layer of this. It would be better to have the inflatable pumped up here so I can see how far in this carpet needs to go, but I'll just allow a little bit more. We'll probably come into here somewhere, so maybe even just use half a roll, but I want to carpet the edges where it's going to sit on the inflatable, just to prevent any rubbing. I also want to get this front part carpeted as well. Be a bit trickier doing this bit up here. Work it out. We'll sit that down where that's flat. We'll quick this through. So we'll give that a go. And along with that, we've got staple gun, which we have here in the shed. I don't know why we have it in the shed. We've never used it before, but it's going to be handy for this. I'll staple the carpet down as I go, and the glue should help it hold on a bit. So sit this camera down and let's get into it. We'll mark a few things out. She's going to be pretty rough, not a carpet layer, but let's give it a go. Righto, they're cut. They're cut now. So I'll just clean off the boards. I'll get a bit of this glue down. I think I'm just going to slap that on with a bit of paintbrush. And then we'll staple it and just work back. Should be pretty simple, and then we'll let that set. And then the EVA is currently getting made. I confirmed and paid for that yesterday. So hopefully it doesn't take them too long to make. They get that sent out, we can whack them on, and we're ready to go fishing. We should get a fish in before cod close, which will be exciting. Let's glue those down. Righto, had dinner, put the kids to bed, we're back down the shed. We're going to staple and glue down this marine carpet on the bottom of the decks. I've just had it flattening out a little bit, just make it a little bit easier. So We're going to grab the glue over here, this sort of brush the glue onto the board, stick it down, staple it down. Should be good to go, let it dry. Righto, that is it done. I punched a lot of staples in there. Hopefully it all stays down. The glue didn't seem like it was going to do a lot. It sort of held it there while I punched the staples in. So that should be it. That's the underside of the front deck. It's a bit of mucking around to get around this piece of pine, but I just stapled this side down, folded it down, stapled down in this crevice here, and then stapled up this side. Had to do a bit of cutting here to get around this thing. Stapled the top, just went with the folds and stapled as I went. It looks pretty tidy. Yeah, this is the back deck. It was very simple, it's all flat stuff, so that's good. Now they're ready for the deck Armour Hexa deck, which hopefully will turn up later in the week. We'll stick it down, it should be very straightforward. We're ready to hit the water, which I'm very keen to do. Alright, I'm just going to attach a couple of the tie down points. Now that I've got the carpet down, I can attach these to the bottom. Ideally, I'd have the inflatable pumped up so I could actually line all this stuff up and make sure where I'm putting them is going to work. But it's not pumped up and I'm just going to wing it. If worst comes to worst, I'll just be able to unscrew these and screw them back in once I've got the inflatable pumped up. So yeah, I've just got some 10mm stainless steel screws, self-tapping screws. So don't know if you can see them, tiny little things. It's 12mm ply and it's going through the carpet, and it's also got to go through this little horseshoe tie down point thing, so that should be no risk of it going all the way through. And now we're just going to line that up now, drill these, one of these on each side on this front deck. If you have a look here, the front deck will be held in by that piece of pine at the front, so there should be no movement at the front. That pretty well secures that. These ones I'm going to put underneath, just so they're not up on top of the deck. Underneath on the outside, this bit will hang over the outside of the inflatable and towards the back, and then there will be a little ring back here on the inflatable where I can just tie a short strap to, just take any slide out of the back of that deck. Probably unnecessary, but if we go through some gnarly country, it'll be good to have. So let's screw this in here. Just for extra security, like I say, a lot of the river I'm going through is not that gnarly. The rapids are very gentle, so I don't think the decks are going to move too much, especially once they have a bit of weight on them. But these little tie down points just add a bit of security. They will have a fair bit of gear sitting up on top of the decks with the rods and bags, overnight bags and stuff. So yeah, there's just a little bit of security. I think they're going to work all right. They're not going to be holding that much weight. So let's punch those two in. Back in the shed again, where I've just decided I'll probably even see a trial run before I put the EVA foam on. I'm still waiting for that to turn up. We just had a fair bit of rain here on farm, so stuck in the shed today, just blowing him up, seeing how long it took me. It took me about 15 minutes. Still having a lot of drama with the True Kit pump provided. I will email them and see how I can get that going. I reckon there's a screw cap missing or something there, but anyway, we're going to put the decks on here, put the electric motor on, just make sure that's all good. There's a chance I'll be going for a fish this weekend. Got some help here today. Say hello, Herbie.
Hello.
Yeah, so we just put him together here, make sure the electric motor bit's going to work, and then if I do get a chance to get out this weekend, even if I'm just putting it on the dam here on the farm, just to make sure everything's going to work, especially where I put the electric, and make sure the decks aren't going to be too big for the boat, before I go and put the EVA foam down, because it'll be a bit harder to customise once I have put that foam on. So, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Righto, let's put this other deck on and get the electric motor on. I just got to put the carpet on here the other night. I just got to drill these holes right down through so that my bolts can go through for the Minn Kota. Hopefully don't drill into the inflatable. Now we're just going to put the quick release bracket on. This will probably stay on there. I may take it off to put the EVA foam down and then put it on again after that, just so it sits up above the EVA foam. Otherwise it might be a bit hard to pull the quick release bracket out if the foam is up above here, so it probably will come off again. Just quickly put these in here. The reason I want to put this in is just to check that there's enough clearance with the electric motor over the front of the inflatable. I'd hate to get it on the water and it'd all be too close, a bit hard to fix it out there. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to jump up here, swing it down, make sure I'm turned around. I got the battery, I might hook it up to the battery. Just swing it around, make sure it's not going to hit the underside of the inflatable here. And then we're ready for a dam test. I'll just quickly go through the batteries and that I've selected for the inflatable, keeping in mind the goal of this is to still be lightweight on the water, still be able to get to all those spots that the boats and tinnies can't get to, so be able to get around log jams and that. So I want to keep it light. I'm also trying to keep it cheap. I'm in a rubber boat and it's a bit of an unknown for me. I don't know how long it's going to last and that, so trying to keep it as cheap as I can in certain aspects. So in saying that, I have gone with a King's lithium battery, 120 amp hour lithium battery, and also the King's battery box. This will just, I'll be able to go Anderson plug straight into there for the electric motor. Yeah, and it just gives me a few other options. Got these USB and 12 volt outlets, so I'll be able to charge batteries and phones and stuff off this battery as well. 120 amps, I've been told that should last me easily on a 2-day drift. Especially pushing this little inflatable, it's not going to use a lot of battery, I don't think. I'll be able to run the tour over pretty gently, so that's what I've gone for. I've never had a lithium battery before. Being King's, it's super cheap. Let's see how long it lasts. But they're so light. That's a 120 amp hour battery, and I can lift it up. It's very light. I think it was, probably says on there somewhere, 12 kilos. It's only 12 kilos, so that keeps it light. It'll go down the back of the boat under that rear deck down there. It'll sit in the battery box. Hopefully that all fits in under there. Haven't checked any of that, but we will make that work. So I'm just going to hook the electric up now, give it a bit of a whirl, and then make sure we've got clearance down here at the front of the boat when it's down. I can slide that deck forwards more. A bit of wood is almost on the front of the floor there now, but I can come forwards probably another inch or so if I need to. But by the looks of it, we're going to have plenty of clearance. So anyway, give that a go. That all worked pretty good. Yeah, once I have that down the water, that's going to be fine. We'll try and test it in the dam this weekend. I got the young fellow with me all weekend, so go for a spin, put a life jacket on him. That battery box, I think it's going to be really good. It's a one-stop station really. The electric motor, I've just got to get a bit of an Anderson lead made up for that. About a 3 metre cable from here. We'll go back to the battery box. Yeah, just I want this whole thing to be removable. These decks have to come off every time I pull this apart, so I can't really have that going to a fixed circuit breaker and then onto the battery like they've got it set up there with those fittings. So I'm going to put an Anderson plug here, and then I'll just have an extension cable that has a 60 amp fuse in it. That should do the job, and that Anderson cable will go straight into that battery box. And yeah, like I say, this just gives me options. I've got power for phones, batteries, anything else, any other electronics that might end up going with us, especially if we're doing 2-night drifts. Pretty handy to be able to charge stuff on the way. Like I say, I think that 120 amps is going to be heaps for what we're doing in this. So anyway, she's looking pretty good there now. I think it's all going to work. I just got to work out now while I've got it inflated where these attachment points are going to go under here. I put these ones on the other day and I think they're going to be pretty right. This one will just strap straight back to here. The short little strap, same on the other side. The front can't really go anywhere, so I think all that's going to be good. The front one will be right. So this back one, I've got to work out what I want to do. I've put these ones at the front. They can come to here. That'll stop it sliding off backwards. They can come straight to this strap, or they can come up here to this ring. Probably up to the metal ring will be better. Like I say, that'll stop the deck going backwards, and also lifting up and flipping over if someone stands on the back, which it can't really do anyway. And I think that'll be enough, because if it slides forwards onto the boat, that's not going to be a drama for anyone. And it's not going to flip, it's not going to flip up this way, because that seat is in under there supporting the front of that. See there? So it can't flip on there. So I think what I've got there is going to be enough just to strap from here to here on both sides. That'll stop it going off the back, which I don't think it'll do that anyway. It's pretty gripped on there, especially once you've got some weight. I've got that marine carpet pretty right. It covers the inside of the pillow. Anyway, we're getting pretty close. The plan from here is just waiting for the deck armour hexa deck to turn up. Pretty excited. It's going to look sick. Got all custom stuff put on there, so it's going to look really good, as long as I don't bugger up the installation. When it turns up, I've got these little latches here, and I'll probably grab a couple more of these. I'll just bring them out here into the sun. I got these just from BCF. They're just stainless steel latches. They're retractable. So I'm actually going to, once I lay the EVA foam, I will cut a section out of the foam, screw those down into the deck. Probably have like a latch here and here, and then another two on the back deck. You see when the social fishing boys are fishing, they've got a lot of waterproof bags strapped to their decks, and I'll probably be using these. I might even just use those two on the back deck, because I'll probably want the front deck to be pretty clear. They normally have a heap of bags strapped up one side of this rear deck. It'll be covered with waterproof bags that are full of camping gear, sleeping gear and stuff like that. And down the other side's where they lay all their rods. I just got to come up with a bit of a system. Once I get the EVA foam down, a bit of a system where I can sit the rods and not be worried about them tumbling into the water. That's going to be the next thing. If you've got any ideas there what I should use, chuck that in the comments for me. I haven't quite worked out. Velcro might work, but I don't think I'll go Velcro, and I don't really want something big, hardened plastic there that you can stub your toe on and that. I want to try and keep the deck as clean as I can, but I also don't want, you know, $800 rod and reels tipping over and going to the bottom of the river. So I have to work some sort of system out there to sit these rods on. But yeah, I'm pretty keen to get out in this thing. It's going to be really good. It is starting to dawn on me. It's a lot bigger vessel than my kayak. It's a lot bigger footprint, so it is going to be hard to get through some of the spots on the river. That's not going to matter through the summer flow, which is when it's going to come into its prime. Having this electric motor and just having an inflatable, which catches a lot less water, that summer flow I'll get through everywhere. It's just when the water's low, we'll see how it goes then. I've still got my kayak there if I need to go back to using that. And it's a lot more gear to take. It's a lot heavier to get all this stuff down to the water. A lot of the spots where I put my kayak in, they are, you know, I'll winch my kayak down banks and winch it back up. I won't be able to do that with this thing. I won't be able to physically carry a lot of this stuff down the banks that I go down into those spots. And then you probably want a pretty flat sort of area to be able to assemble all this gear. So that's something I have to think about, just access points, which if we're doing overnight drifts or 2-night drifts, access doesn't really matter. You're covering that much water that you can put in the most public of boat ramps, because you know you're gonna cross through water that's a little bit less pressured. So yeah, really keen to get out. One other thing I do have to build, I saw the Social Fishing Boys do, and I'm just waiting for some parts to come. I'll put a ram mount here on the back of this. It'll be a fixed mount. It'll go on top of the EVA foam as well, and then off that I'll have to make some sort of rudder. The rudder will just come down. That's just going to hold the back of the kayak in the current, stop it swinging around. So yeah, it'll be something pretty simple. Probably do what they do. They just use a tent peg with a bit of wood bolted into it, and it goes down into the water. And if it's on a tent pole, it's extendable, retractable. Yeah, so I'll just wait for the decking to get on and wait for the ram mount to come before I worry about attacking any of that stuff. Right, that's pretty good. Hopefully next time you see me, I'm spinning this thing around on the dam. Right, I've just been doing a little bit of tinkering. There's just a few things I had to fit on the inflatable. We're just about to dam test it, so this will be the end of part 2 of the TrueKit Discovery inflatable build. I'll just quickly run you through what I've just done now, what's left to do, but yeah, this will be the end. Start of part 3, we'll be out on the dam, just a dam here on the farm. Just giving it a test. I just want to make sure the electric motor and everything's going to work, get everything talking to each other. Yeah, I'll take a rod out there and have a few casts. There's nothing in the dam, there are a few carp in there, but we'll just make sure it's going to be all good, so when we do take it out to the river, we know everything's all right. So just run you through the things I've been doing here in the shed now. Got the young bloke with me, hence why I haven't been videoing the whole process of this stuff, but it has been a bit fiddly here and there. So I've just, on the back here, I've put a rudder. That's just made out of the leftover marine ply. Just had an adjustable tent peg that I got from BCF. I've cut that right down. It was a lot longer than that. Just got 3 bolts here. They got Nylex nuts on them, so they shouldn't come undone. Cut a little slot out of the tent peg and just slotted that marine ply in. So when I'm in the water, I've got it on a ram mount, and the ram mount is through my ply. So that's all removable. I can just take this lock here off when I'm not when I'm taking the decks on and off. So that's the idea of this thing. I want it to be all modular. I want it to all be removable, so I can just pack it all down individually. So when I'm in the water, that'll go down. That's just going to hold the back of the boat pretty straight, hopefully, with the front. Now, update on the pump. I got in touch with TrueKit. This thing just was not working. Whenever I hooked it up, I was just losing all the air. They told me to have a look at the base here. I noticed all these screws were quite loose. I took that plate off, and the O-ring or the seal that's in there, it was just out of place. So I put it in place, did them all up. It's working awesome now. I can get all the chambers to the right PSI, which will make a big difference. It'll make the boat perform a lot better, make it a lot more stable. And yeah, I didn't have anywhere near enough air in them, so it's really, really quite solid when you've got the right amount of air in each of the chambers. That's just going to make it a way more stable platform to have these decks sitting on. Another thing I've been doing down here this morning, I got the heading unit for the Minn Kota. My plan with this is I'm probably going to mount it just to a very thin piece of wood. I'll probably screw it to a thin piece of wood, and then I'll just put Velcro on the base of that piece of wood and Velcro on the top of my hexa deck when it turns up. So I can just hook this thing up to the battery, which I've got it there hooked up, and then we can just, every time we come out, we can take it off, we can Velcro it on. That way I don't have cords and wires hanging off this deck when I want to remove it. So that will happen. I'm Not going to bother doing that today. I'll do that once I get the hexa deck on there, just see where I want to mount it and how big I want that piece of wood to be. I could even, just not a very flat platform on the bottom of this to stick the Velcro, so I will probably have to just put a very small piece of wood there. But I think that'll work quite well. And another thing I've got is, I got an Anderson plug cable made up to the electric motor, and that just goes back to the top of this battery box, and that's all working quite well.
Dad.
So what we're going to do, so we're going to wrap this video up. The next one you see, I will be out on the dam, so let me know if you got any questions about the build. Yeah, happy to answer them, happy to take any suggestions as well on how I can do things a bit better down the track. Alright, thanks for watching this one. What do you want to say, Herbie?
Fuck.
Boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, boat.
The boat. Oh well.